Hey, babe.
Hey you guys, it's Alexis. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a Lex Talk About It. The topic is HBCU Experience. And my special guest is my best friend, Taylor. Before we get in the video, of course, I need you guys to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And while you guys are doing all of that, go ahead and turn on the post notification bell. That way you guys can know when I upload a video. But Taylor, of course, thank you for joining the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. But I want you to feel free to share as much or as little. This is a judgment-free zone where we share positivity, speak the truth, keep it real, speak the facts. Like, this is the place. This is it. But
yes, ma'am.
if you want to go ahead and give your intro.
Okay, well, hello everyone. As Alexis mentioned, my name is Taylor. I am a recent graduate of Spelman College. I'll however be walking in 2023 with the rest of my class, but I did do it in 3.5, so we love that. And there I majored in health science, and I have aspirations of becoming a pediatrician. So the next step is getting ready to apply to medical school. Wish me luck.
You got this. You got this. All right, you ready to start?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Alrighty, so question number one. Why did you choose to go to an HBCU? What are the factors you looked at?
Okay, why did I choose to go to an HBCU? Honestly, I chose to go to HBCU because I just, I don't know, I just really valued the traditions and the history behind Spelman. When I was applying for schools, I applied to about like 3 or 4 schools, and I visited a couple, and when I visited other schools, I didn't really get like that vibe of like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Whereas when I visited Spelman, I was there and I was walking around, I was like, ooh, I like this. I was seeing everybody, I was like, I could see myself here. And so then that kind of like confirmed that like I definitely wanted to apply to this school, and I applied, and I got in the week after I visited school. So I was like, ooh, is that a sign? Like, oh my God. And then after you get accepted to Spelman, we have Spellbound, and that's basically an admitted students weekend. And so when I went to Spellbound, that really confirmed it for me. And I was like, okay, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, and I just really wanted to be in a space of having people that looked like me, who really all had the same goals of wanting to be successful and to really live out their dreams and aspirations. And you know, you really have, as someone who's Black, you do have the rest of your life to be a minority. So it was nice to like have a couple years where the majority, everybody looks like you, but everyone's different still. So you're still learning a lot about everyone, and a lot about different people. And you know, people come from different places, so you're still learning about different cultures, different slang, whatever. But it's just nice to be surrounded by other Black women. So yeah, that's why I chose Spelman.
I love that. So if you guys are looking, if we got like, you know, high school students that are contemplating if they want to, if you guys want to attend a HBCU, get your notebook, take these notes, because she's speaking it. Okay,
I'm trying it.
All right, question number 2. Being that you attended a HBCU, was it easier to cope being away from home because it was like a sense of family since you were surrounded by it? You know?
That's a good question.
It make it easier?
I don't know if it necessarily made it easier, just because I don't know if it necessarily made it easier just because I feel like you being away from home in general, you're gonna, especially if you're like super close to your family, it's gonna be it's a change. You're going from being in high school to being in college, so that's a transition in itself. So then adding being out of state on top of that, it does add another layer of like fear, like, ooh, I'm really by myself. Like when I moved in, my mom moved me in, and then she left, she dropped me off. I was like,
it hit.
Did you really do that? What is going on? about to be here in the morning, girl. No.
Come back here.
Yeah, so I think it definitely, it took some getting used to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes getting used to regardless. I can't say that it made it easier,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, like, I still felt like I made the right decision. I still felt like I was in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped. I don't know that it necessarily made it easier because I feel like being homesick is just something that comes with going to college, especially if you're going out of state. And I know some people, like, I was just wanting to stay over because I'm from Florida, but I know some people who, like, are coming all the way from California or coming all the way from up north. So people were, like, some people, and when you're that far away from home, you can really only go home. Some people don't go home for every single break. Or like some people may not go home for Thanksgiving. So it's a lot of transition, and it is different. So I don't know that it necessarily made it easier. But yeah.
I'll be homesick every day.
Yeah,
like,
so I'm about to say homesick. I feel like that comes with the territory, especially if you're going out of state. And you can't, like, I know some people, like, if they stay in Georgia, they can just go home for the weekend or whatever. But that's not the case for everyone. So
True that.
yeah.
True that. All right, next question. What are the pros of attending an HBCU, the things that you really like?
Pros. The things I like about attending HBCU. I liked a lot about attending HBCU. I liked that sense of, like, unity, sense of family, having like being surrounded by so much, especially I'm not gonna be extra, but Spelman is number one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Number one, consecutively at this point. I'm just saying. Not to start up, but it is the truth. I think, especially for Spelman, like, I feel like everyone really just, like, it's just such a community of, like, thriving and, like, you, especially if Spelman is a very small school. So when you're surrounded by people who are in your classes and stuff, based on your major, you start to build, like, groups and, like, just have your little, like I have all my health science friends, so all of us was going through the pain and strife together. And with Spelman, instead of, like, our classes being 3 credits, like a lot of other schools, ours are 4. So that makes it a little bit harder because they have to have justification for the 4th credit hour. So, like, that could, so sometimes, like, instead of having just, like, a final for a class, you could have a final, a presentation, and a paper for that class. So that makes it different and stuff. So I just like having that sense of community, and then especially on top of Spelman being a small school. So I know, like, some schools are super big and you got to use, like, a shuttle to get to one end of the campus to another. Spelman is not like that. Everywhere is, like, a 2-3 minute walk. So that's one thing I really liked about Spelman in particular, because I like that the school being small, everything was easy to get to. And then I felt like I could really build bonds with my professors because the classes were smaller. So it wasn't like I felt like I was just a number. I was, like, being able to, oh, my professor know my name and all the other stuff. Well, I'm supposed to be talking about HBCUs in general, but I can only speak for Spelman. So I think you really, like, come out a different person than how you came in. And I think that's something they tell you when we first, like, get there. And it's true, because, like, you really learn, like, being in college, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about other people. You learn a lot of lessons. You learn people who you may have came in being friends with, you may not be friends with after the fact, or you meet new people, you learn new interests. Some people go in thinking they want to be doctors and then leave saying they want to be, like, a director or something. Like, you learn a lot about yourself. So I liked having that aspect as well. Those are something I could keep going, but those are some things that I liked about Spelman in particular, is how small it was. So, like I said, having an intimate class setting, you get to know your classmates and your professors. I enjoyed having
and being, like, surrounded by people that are wanting to thrive. Like,
it's very motivating.
People,
it's very motivating. It can be maybe easy to compare yourself, so that's one thing I would suggest. Like, it's easier said than done, but you definitely don't want to compare your journey to other people's, and I had to learn that also. But I definitely would say it can be motivating, but you just have to be careful with it to not compare yourself so much that you're like, dang, she's doing this, that, and the third. what am I doing? Because you're doing great too. You are here too. You got to the same school. You are great too. So, yeah.
I like that. All right, question number 4. Since I asked you what were the pros and the things that you like, what are some of the cons or the struggles? And I know in the previous question you were saying about the 4 credits. Would that kind of be one of the struggles? This is like a 4-credit type of school.
A struggle. Struggle is such an interesting word. I think
what could have been better? What could have been better instead of saying like con?
Yeah. So. Well, I could say con. I'd say, or just some things that I didn't. I can, like I said, I can only speak for Spelman.
Right.
But I think some cons. I would say having a small school works for me. I know some people like going to big schools, but I prefer like I said, having a more intimate classroom setting. But with the campus being so small, that can also be a con because it's like. Well, if y'all don't know how the AUC works, so Spelman is one school in the AUC, which stands for Atlanta University Center. So there's Spelman, Clark, Morehouse, Morehouse School of Medicine, Morris Brown. So we're all like around each other. So, but the whole thing as a whole is called the AUC. And so the AUC, all the schools are very small. So with it being small, that can be a good thing and a bad thing because with it being small, everybody knows everybody. So like business or stuff can spread very fast. So you want to be careful with that and not to have all your business out there because you never, especially with it being so small, you never know who you could be talking to. You never know what connection somebody could have to someone else. So, because that's one thing college is all about is connections. You really want to put in the effort to make connections with people because that could be your foot in the door to another opportunity. That could be a foot in the door to a dream job. It could be a foot in the door to another school. So that is kind of going back to pros. That is a pro, but you definitely want to keep that in mind when it comes to school size. Because when it is a small school, things can spread fast.
Travel real quick.
You learn stuff. Everybody knows everybody. So that could be a good thing and a bad thing. So just be careful with that. And then I think, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a con, but I will say that some majors are still a work in progress. So like some majors are newer than others, like health science majors, it is a relatively new major. So there's still like kinks and like things that are being worked out with it. So like not everybody, like somebody who was the first class of a health science major and then us now, our experience could be kind of different just based on like maybe some of the classes or how some of the classes were formatted or the teacher who taught the class. Let's see, I guess another thing, it is, I can speak for Spelman. Spelman is expensive. I will say that, and that's not really accessible for everyone. So that's something that, I mean, there are some ways to alleviate that, whether it's applying for scholarships or getting grants or things like that. But some people make that seem a lot easier than it is too. So that is another thing. I think one way to look at it is if it's a school you really want to go to and you know that like this is where you want to be, you can kind of look at it as an investment into your future. So if you know like this school is going to prepare me for what I want to do and I can't see myself anywhere else and this is where I want to go, you can that is an investment you can make. But there are also other ways to still get an HBCU experience and maybe not spend as much money doing it. So like I know some people, you can go to a community college for your freshman and sophomore year to get your associate's degree, or if you are like in high school and you do like dual enrollment classes or whatever and get your AA. I did do dual enrollment and that's part of how I got out in 3.5 instead of 4 because I got to transfer those credits over. But if you come in with an AA, you're automatically a junior. And so when you're a junior, then you only have your junior and senior year there. And that can be a bit of a different process than like, because obviously people will have their friends and stuff, but that is one way that makes it cheaper because community college is obviously a lot cheaper than private or just going like off to college in general. So But college in general is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely weigh out your options, weigh out your pros and cons of each school. Look into all of that, and give yourself enough time to look at all that information first before making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And then make sure, if you can, visit the schools you apply to that like are your top schools, so you can know and like see what it's like. See how the students interact with each other. Do they look happy? Do they look like they're struggling and miserable? Take all that into account.
Take it in.
Yeah.
If you're viewing this and you're in high school and your school offers dual enrollment,
take them classes. Take them classes.
Do it. Like, I did it, and I'm happy that I did. Do it.
Yeah, because with dual enrollment, you are guaranteed your college credit.
Right. And you save it.
And you save money. You take the classes for free, so you might as well. Even if you don't know what you want to major in college, if you want to go to college, it don't hurt.
Do it.
It don't hurt.
Just do it.
Like Nike said.
All right. So I know you touched on this a little earlier, but the next question is, do you think attending an HBCU changed you, like made you the person you are today? Could be good, bad, but in how so?
I definitely think going to HBCU changed me. I think I mentioned earlier, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, I learned a lot more about like, in terms of the career that I want to do. I knew going in that I wanted to be a physician, but I kind of was able to confirm the type of physician I wanted to be. And in terms of like choosing osteopathic medicine as opposed to allopathic medicine, so a DO over being an MD, just decisions like that, I feel like I was able to be a lot more well-informed and stuff like that. And my experience was a little different compared to like the traditional experience, because I went into Spelman in 2019. So I was a freshman before COVID. And then our spring semester, COVID hit, and we were on campus like January, February, and then in March 2020, we got kicked off campus and had to move back home. So we were doing college over Zoom. So I was in Zoom from 2020 and then went back in person the fall junior year. So that was 3 full semesters on Zoom. So that was a transition in itself. So having to transition from being in person to Zoom, and then back to in person, it was a lot. And there was a lot, like being my class we missed out on and things like that. And so that definitely played a factor as well.
Yeah.
So it's not it wasn't a traditional experience for a lot of us, just because we were at home and having to do stuff on Zoom and all the other stuff. So I didn't have a traditional experience.
Yeah.
But I do think that I still got a lot out of Spelman, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about kind of like confirmed that what I want to do is what I want to do. And I feel like I've made a lot of connections with people, and I've made lots of friends that I can still see being in my life. And yeah, so I enjoyed going to Spelman, and I feel like I got a lot out of it, especially considering the circumstances of Koviana and all of that. So, yeah.
Rona.
Miss Rona.
I don't like her.
Wrecking havoc. Came in like a little wrecking ball. Yeah.
Okay, so last question. If someone was on the fence about choosing if they should go to a HBCU versus a traditional college, what would you tell them to like help them make their decision? Like, what advice? Some nuggets.
Okay, choosing HBCU over PWI, I would say, kind of like how I mentioned earlier, I'm always be team HBCU. Not to be biased, but it is kind of biased. But I will say, like, if you have the means to and you are able to, do it, because, like I mentioned earlier, you have the, like, as being Black in America, you all have, especially because a lot of us who go to HBCUs were in predominantly white spaces throughout, like, elementary school through high school. And so it's just a completely different world being surrounded by other Black individuals who want to be successful and have the goals themselves that they want to complete. And so it's just a completely different experience that you cannot get anywhere else. There's so much culture and things like that that you just do not get anywhere else. Like, even although it's not all about the social scene. The social scene is completely different. You know, having homecoming is a big deal at every HBCU, and you don't get that experience anywhere else. And yes, you can visit and all that fun stuff, but it's not the same. And I just feel like there's just, like I mentioned earlier, you have the rest of your life to be a minority, so why not have just 4 little years to be the majority? You know, have people who look like you, have people who can look out for you, build connections, and you can build connections with other alum who went to that school, who are doing the exact things you want to do. And it just hits different being able to see individuals who look like you doing the exact things that you want to do. Because like it really is like when alumna come back and talk to us, like health science majors or those who are interested in health careers, they've been able to talk about their experiences and be like, you know, I was sitting in that exact seat that you sitting in, girl. You can't get that experience anywhere else. And it just hits different being able to be like, wow, she's doing exactly what I want to do.
Like, I can do that.
And I know that I can do that because she says so. And now I got her number now, so when I need help applying to this or doing this, I can call her. Because I got her email, I got her number. Or, you know, it's just little things like that. Having that community, having that network of people, it is different. And you cannot get that everywhere. I'm just saying. So, I'm always team HBCU. But do take all things into consideration, whether it's money, location, if they have your major or not. Take all those things into consideration. But it boils down to it. I'm always team HBCU. I'm sorry. It's just the right decision to make. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So that is all my questions. This last part is kind of like free talk. Is there any positivity, encouragement, advice, like anything? Like this is you. You can talk if you want. Anything you want to share? Just
any advice. I would say choosing your college is probably one of the like first big decisions that you make, especially in high school and things like that. And so you want to make a wise decision. So like I said earlier, take everything into consideration: cost, location, if they have your major. Look at everything, weigh out your options. I would say team HBCU, of course. But what else do I want to say? I would just say some words of advice. Do not, like I said earlier, don't compare yourself and your journeys to other people, because that can really hinder your progress and how you view yourself. I would also say find your group in college, whether you go to a HBCU or PWI or whatever. Find you a good, solid group of friends that you guys can go through everything with. Know that it's okay to lose friends. It's okay to gain new ones. What else? I would say, like, enjoy being in college. Safely, of course. Be safe in college, but enjoy the experience, because you only have your undergrad years once. But know that your idea of fun doesn't have to be the exact same definition as everybody else's. I know some people feel like college is all about smoking, drinking, partying, this, and the third. And although that does happen, that's not the case. That's not everyone's definition of fun.
Right.
It wasn't mine. And I still had fun in college, even though that's not what I find fun.
Right.
And there's nothing against people who do. If you think that's fun, get lit. Do your thing.
As
long as you say do your thing. But know that it's okay if that's not your definition of fun, because it's not for everyone. And honestly, I would say have fun, but stay focused, and know that the reason why you're in college is to get that degree so that you can move on to your next steps. So don't get too sidetracked and too distracted trying to get into any and everything and not keeping track of your main goal.
Right.
But have fun, explore different clubs, organizations, get involved, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it. But definitely do your research, apply for scholarships, apply for FAFSA early, do everything you need to do. Yes, get ahead of the game and stay organized. And it's okay, even if you are a freshman and you starting to look at some YouTube vlogs, see how people's experiences are there. Learn all that early, so you can make your list, decide where you want to apply, and figure everything out. But those would be some things that I have to say.
Thank you.
So.
That was really good. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on Let's Talk About It.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Yes,
Anytime. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got something out of it. Again, make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned because I have some more Let's Talk About It coming up with some more special guests. And I know y'all gonna love it. But we are